Here's a tip. Let's say you bet big on a 4-game moneyline parlay. Your first 3 bets have hit, but you're a little nervous about the last game. Consider placing a separate bet against the team you have winning in your parlay. You're technically a winner either way. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
The reason why I feel like Jared Goff doesn't really enter these MVP conversations. Jared Goff last year was on the team with the best record in football, threw for 4,700 yards, 37 touchdowns, and Tom was never in the race. He was never in the race because we know he's not that guy.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Welcome to another edition of the Craig Carton Show. Craig Carton, my main man Tyrone Johnson with you for the next hour. Tons of stuff to get to as we are now just one day away from what is going to be a huge NFC matchup and maybe the rights to face off one day in the future against the Philadelphia Eagles. Thursday Night Football this week is money good because we got the Green Bay Packers. They're 1-0. We got the Washington Redskins, Commodores. They're 1-0. And one of those teams might be good enough to give the Eagles a run for their money. But that's not where we start today. Where we start today is the predictable panic that sets in when your team doesn't score a lot of points, when you lose in week 1, and you already don't like your quarterback. Even if you don't know a lot about the backup quarterback, or the backup quarterback is at best a journeyman, there are a bunch of teams sitting there right now as everyone comes back from the Tuesday day off and gets back to practice and game planning for their week 2 game where the fan bases are already going crazy. Bench the starter, we want the backup. And the teams, frankly, aren't committing to the starter beyond maybe week 2. I start you off in my hometown, New York City, where New York Giant fans, after seeing the Giants score a total of only 6 points against the Washington Commandos, have already decided, and I can't tell you that they're wrong, but they've already decided that Russell Wilson is not their quarterback. Doesn't matter that they've given him a boatload of money. Doesn't matter that the Giants' offensive failures were not solely on him. They have already decided that while Russell Wilson has been announced, as you see right there, as the starter in week 2, that they don't want him anymore. So you might say to yourself, okay, that's fine. Russell Wilson has not played great football over the last 3 years of his career. The year where he played, about 12 games, right, in Pittsburgh last year. And yes, that's right, made the playoffs with him as their starting quarterback starting in week 7. Before that, had a decent year 2 in Denver, but everyone said that he stunk and the Broncos ate $80 million against the cap. The year before that, he was not very good. And his last year in Seattle, you could make the argument, not very good. But who are you replacing him with? And this is the thing that always gets me. It doesn't matter what the guy's name is. In this case, it's rookie quarterback Jackson Dart, who the New York Giants selected out of Ole Miss with the 25th pick in the draft. My memory of Jackson Dart is the Florida game a year ago, where he threw 19 consecutive interceptions, and 17 of them got called back because of defensive penalties. And do you remember Tyrone crying on the sideline after that 19th consecutive interception? But somehow, some way, one game into the season, and it shows you how fickle we are as fans because we only get 17 of these games, that Giants fans have already given up, and it's a wrap on Russell Wilson.
Yeah, and the part that bothers me the most about this, and there's many parts of this, is one, the Dart part is we have no clue if he can play.
And that's up right there. Jackson Dart, I know guys like John Gruden love him. I know Brian Dable loves him. I respect that. They're quarterback guys, so I'll lean to their expertise, obviously, over my own. But the kid hasn't thrown a pass in the NFL yet, and Russell Wilson, I don't care what anybody says, is more than just a borderline Hall of Fame candidate. So we're going to say that after 1 week of football, and I acknowledge it was a bad week for the Giants offense. It was a bad week for Kafka, their offensive coordinator, calling plays especially down 7-0, first and goal from the 1 after the pass interference penalty, and you throw the ball to an eligible tackle. That ain't on Russell Wilson. Sorry, not sorry. But are you convinced that 1 week in, that A, Russell Wilson in this case, is not the answer, and that B, because you better get this right, that Jackson Dart is the answer? Or are you telling me, and I think this would be, bat poop crazy, that as Giants fans, and other teams I'll get to in a second, you are already willing to throw this football season that we waited 207 days for, from the Super Bowl to week 1, that you are already willing to sacrifice the 2025 season solely to find out, because you don't know, solely to find out if Jackson Dart is a legitimate starting quarterback? That's crazy.
It's too quick. Too early.
Week 6, week 7, week 8. There's plenty of time for the Giants to lose 5 games in a row, be eliminated from the postseason, and then say to your fan base, there's no point in playing Russell Wilson because he's not our long-term future. So now I'm going to turn over the reins to the rookie. Week 2? That is crazy talk.
It absolutely is. And the other part that's tough is the offensive line was really bad. And do you want to put a rookie quarterback behind a bottom 5, at least in week 1? We'll see how it plays out.
Right.
But in week 1, they were a bottom 5 offensive line.
Sure.
Do you want to do that to a kid? I don't. A veteran can take those hits, can get the ball out quick.
You would think, yes. Russell Wilson's much more prepared because he's seen it before.
Right. This kid, do you want him to take a bunch of hits right away? I don't.
Look, maybe Jackson Dart becomes a great quarterback one day. I know they like him a lot. Great, all good. But going to Jackson Dart signifies to me that you've given up on the season. The New York Giants, I'm telling you, when your head coach is already on a hot seat and not guaranteed coming back next year, when your general manager, Joe Shane, is on the hot seat, not guaranteed coming back next year, and you have what should be a very good defense, and if you watch that game against Washington,
they played well.
While Washington still scored 21 points, the offense wasn't doing anything. That defense eventually broke a little bit at the end, but they played their asses off in that game. And look, maybe he becomes great. But if you move to your backup quarterback and it's not based on an injury to the starter, you are telling your fan base, we have given up. And if you're a Giant fan, I get it. The Giants have been an embarrassment for far too long for one of the classy, respectable, teams that started the NFL. But I ain't going to Jackson Dart yet. And I was wondering how a guy who's a unique dude at best, right? Russell Wilson. Mm-hmm. He's not like one of the guys. Russell Wilson handled it in a manner that only Russell Wilson could. He decided to go to the barbershop and get a new haircut. I got it for you right here. Here's Russell Wilson.
Yeah, you see him, man. Got him right.
Clearly unbothered by all the talk of being replaced by Jackson Dart. And I was looking at the list. I got time here, right?
Yeah, you got a few minutes.
Other teams that are already having this conversation.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Browns with Joe Flacco only scored 16 points against the Bengals. To be fair, their field goal kicker missed an extra point and a 30-yard kick. They should have beaten the Bengals. But Browns fans, I'm sure, are already starting to get twisted about when we're going to see Dylan Gabriel and possibly after that, Shedeur Sanders. In Miami, Tua is terrible. But I don't hear Dolphins fans clamoring for Zach Wilson.
Not yet.
To be honest.
Not yet.
And by the way, I don't think they're ever going to clamor for Zach Wilson. The bigger stuff in Miami, and we'll talk to Jordan Schultz about this later, is going to be Tyreek Hill and his future in Miami. The Saints, you got Spencer Rattler, who's not a good NFL quarterback. But are people in New Orleans saying, we want Tyler Shuck? Maybe.
From the Ville?
Maybe. Maybe. I don't think so.
He's tall.
He's tall.
He's 6'5". He's tall.
So the best we can say about
he's tall.
the backup quarterback
Rattler's not. So there you go.
He's tall.
Yeah.
Carolina, I don't think anyone. I know Bryce Young sucks. He's not a quarterback. He's an Oompa Loompa. And dudes who are 3 feet tall are never going to be good quarterbacks.
Dylan Gabriel.
I mean, in the NFL, I heard. By the way,
Dylan Gabriel's the same height. I feel like
Dylan Gabriel's 9 feet tall.
No, he's not. Dylan Gabriel's a little fella.
He's a big.
No,
he's 6'6".
He is not 6'6".
I did want to say this. I did hear Bryce Young's post-game press conference.
Oh, you did?
After the Panthers scored 10 points against Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And I give him credit. Because when he said that line about eating as much as an elephant eats, oompa loompa, doompa, I thought it was on point myself.
Wow.
So I don't think anyone's clamoring for Andy Dalton down there. And those are really the 4 teams. Maybe there's probably a 5th team in there I'm forgetting, where the fan bases are already starting to turn on the starting quarterback. And my brain doesn't work that way. Like we waited 207 days for football to come back. And if we're already acknowledging that we have a starting quarterback that's not any good, and we want to go to an unproven backup quarterback that we truly don't know if he's any good, we're announcing that we've given up. And I'm sorry, I can't give up after week 1. Russell Wilson should be the starting quarterback for week 2 here in New York. Much more football coming your way. Jordan Schultz is coming up, and we're going to do a little redraft right after this.
Quarterback or coach has to answer for it.
Right.
Goff, Campbell. Listen, I'm not firing Dan Campbell already. I might be shipping Goff. I don't know, but I think the Lions, again, it's week 1. Are we overreacting? I think the panic meter in Detroit is blaring. I think people are wondering, when do the Pistons start?
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
If a game is on the line,
give me the Navy kicker.
Oh,
the guy's going into battle in 2 weeks. He can't make an extra point. Come on.
From a mindset perspective, I'm not. Listen, we thank them for their service. I love them. Okay.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, if you have a bet and you have an academy kicker with a field goal or an extra point, you got to hold your breath.
27 yards.
27 yards. The kid shanked it from like 30.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
To your point, Greg, if anybody else is able to make a dent, it'll have to happen now. ESPN has had about 3% market share. Their goal is to get to 10% by next year. So if they can't make a big push this year and really see a lot of the new features that they put on their apps, a lot of the integrations with ESPN fantasy products, with ESPN, flagship products across the board, if those don't pay off soon this football season, it might be curtains for them.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I'd give them no excuses for the mistakes that Lamar and that team made when they played Buffalo in the playoffs last year. But I do think they've done enough to improve the team in the offseason. I think the offense was way better. The defensive line and the offensive line played really well in the back half of the year last year. Almost all of that talent is back. And I think the Ravens are going to be right there.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Nope. All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Great to have you here. Big game tomorrow night. We'll be all over that tomorrow. Jordan Schultz, by the way, our NFL insider, is going to join us in a little bit as well. And I think the big stink's coming by tomorrow. Mark Schlereth to talk a little football. He had that Jacksonville-Carolina game last week, so got to see Bryce Young up close. And got to see my main man, Mr. Hunter, up close as well, who did not have a great start to his NFL career. I was thinking, what's the worst thing from a fan standpoint, other than you're already talking about your backup quarterback, and that's having a guy that you truly think is the savior for your franchise, and then realizing after week 1 he might not be the savior, talking about Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. Look, I don't care what you do with your toenails and fingernails. It is not one of those things that bothers me if a grown man paints his nails. I think it's weird, but it's not something that I'm all that offended by. So Caleb Williams is a different cat, and he paints his fingernails. Big deal, right? I think we probably spent too much time talking about it. Doesn't make him any less of a man or less of a quarterback. But the thing that's concerning to me is the story I think we just posted up there for a second, is that he now shares a nail salon, or what do you call it? What do they call it?
Nail tech.
A what?
A nail tech.
A nail tech?
Yeah, technician.
They ain't called technicians.
They are called technicians.
A manicurist?
They're called nail techs.
The girl that cuts your nails and paints your nails.
In the black community, it's a nail tech.
Okay.
I don't know what they do in other communities.
Okay.
I'm just speaking for my community. It's nail tech. That's what it is.
But we're in different communities now?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know what the name is.
In whatever you call the girls or guys that do, whatever.
Yeah.
So if I was a Chicago Bear fan, and outside of losing and blowing the lead against Minnesota and J.J. McCarthy outplaying Caleb Williams, certainly in the fourth quarter and for a decent amount of that second half, and the lead story in the Chicago Sun-Times today and online is that Caleb Williams shares a nail tech, thank you.
There you go.
With Angel Reese. And Angel Reese is very excited about that. That two of the more, I guess, notable people in Chicago right now go to the same nail salon. If I was a Bears fan, I would want to trade him immediately. It would make me want to puke, like throw up in my mouth and swallow it.
Why?
Like the focus on Wednesday after a bad Monday night loss shouldn't be that my starting quarterback and franchise savior goes to the same nail salon as Angel Reese. That ain't good if you're a Bears fan. And it got me thinking where Bears fans are if they could go back in time.
Yeah.
Now, look, I think Caleb was the obvious pick. I want to be very clear. I think he's a generational talent. I think one day he will figure it out and be very good. That day, unfortunately, though, is not today.
No.
It was a famous draft. 6 guys got picked in the first round of the 2024 draft. There you have them right there. Caleb went number 1. Jaden, of course, who had the better year, went number 2. Drake May in New England. Penix in Atlanta. JJ in Minnesota. And finally, Bo Nix 12th to the Denver Broncos. Of those guys, Bo Nix in the playoffs. McCarthy didn't play. Penix didn't play. Jay Daniels went to the NFC Championship game. And obviously the Patriots didn't do anything. If you could redraft the 2024 draft, and I want to do this from a Chicago Bear perspective. So if I'm a diehard Bears fan, I'm not, but I'm going to play the role here today. If I had the chance to redraft those 5 guys, what order would I draft them in today? So we're going to have a little fun.
All right.
All right. The first guy, I'm going to go 1 to 5 instead of 5 to 1, only because I think number 1's the obvious. If we could redraft today, every Chicago Bear fan is going to agree we're taking Jaden Daniels.
Yes.
We're on the same page?
Same page.
NFC Championship game.
Absolutely.
Looked good week 1 against the Giants. Not great, but good. And had a ridiculous year and was Offensive Rookie of the Year, well-deserved. All right, so we're on the same page on that. All right, so here's where it gets interesting. Would the Chicago Bear fan take Caleb number 2? Like, do you still believe that Caleb's the guy after what you witnessed there in the second half against Minnesota? I think not.
You think not?
I think not. I think the Bears fan is going to take Michael Penix Jr. second. They damn near beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Game probably should have gone to overtime with a late missed field goal. And although I'm not a Penix guy, Tampa's got a good defense. I thought Michael Penix Jr. did a nice job in his first ever start in the NFL.
Oh, he started like 2 games last year.
I would draft him over Caleb Williams if I'm a Bears fan.
I'm okay with that, I guess. There's another guy, though, that I think most Bear fans would take second, but we'll see. Let's see how the list plays out.
You could disagree with my list. The third guy I would take, I mean, he just beat him heads up. Saw a lousy first half, looked like he didn't know how to play football. Great fourth quarter, average third quarter, had the 1 bad pick 6. I would take J.J. McCarthy right now if I was redrafting over Caleb Williams.
But there's a guy who had a lot of yards that was a rookie last year who you still haven't taken.
I think it appears I'm going to get to that guy right now.
I hope.
The guy that I would take 4th is the guy that Tyrone is alluding to. I would take Bo Nix. By the way, Bo Nix was terrible on Sunday. The Denver Broncos offense was atrocious on Sunday. But I did see what Bo Nix did last year. Great defense to help him out, obviously.
Big time.
But Bo Nix did a great job as a rookie with Sean Payton coaching him, and they went to the playoffs. They lost that playoff game, but Bo Nix as a rookie got his team into the postseason. I thought he really had a bad week one.
He did.
That offense was bad as well, but I kind of know Bo Nix is. Bit of a gunslinger, takes some chances, but the dude has already got to the playoffs. So I would take Bo Nix fourth if I'm redrafting here, okay?
Wow.
Which then comes down to who am I taking fifth? And fifth, I'm going to take Caleb Williams.
Okay.
So if I'm a Chicago Bear fan, for all the hoopla, for all the, we got Ben Johnson, and Ben Johnson's a quarterback guru, and Ben Johnson's offense looked great when the offense was scripted for the first 15 plays. I'm not going to argue that at all. They executed that brilliantly. They moved right down the field. Ping, ping, ping. Caleb Williams, I think, was 10 for his first 10. Looked fantastic. And then it all went right downhill from the first drive on. And I know what's going on in Chicago, because Chicago and New York are very similar. It's been a long time since we had a team we were proud of. It's been a long time since we had a quarterback we were proud of. But you might want to ask Chicago Bears fans this tough question right now. If you could do it again, would you have traded Justin Fields still? Or after watching Justin Fields lead the New York Jetropolitans to 30-plus points in his first ever game without the level of talent that the Bears have, you might say that is the biggest heist in the history of football.
Wow.
The Bears selling their soul for Caleb Williams and saying bye-bye to my quarterback, Justin Fields. Food for thought. We're going to keep an eye on it throughout this season. More NFL stuff coming up. George Schultz coming up as well. NFL Insider right after this.
First time on a casino floor and feeling a little overwhelmed? Well, here's a tip. Lots of machines have a free demo mode you can try for practice. So give those slots a spin in practice mode before you start putting down some real cash. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
College football can't allow Notre Dame to have the type of, year they have and schedule they have, and honestly put them up against other teams. Because Notre Dame looks like they're going to be a decent football team. They could lose, I think, next week to Texas A&M, Joe. Right. I don't think it's a great football team, but still a ranked team. And then run the table and still be in the playoff and absolutely beat nobody. The worst schedule I may have ever seen in college football is Notre Dame this year.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Quarterback or coach has to answer for it.
Right.
Goff, Campbell. Listen, I'm not firing Dan Campbell already. I might be shipping Goff. I don't know, but I think the Lions, again, it's week one. Are we overreacting? I think the panic meter in Detroit is blaring. I think people are wondering, when do the Pistons start?
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid. It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Great to have you here. We got Tyrone Johnson here as well. I messed up the YouTube stuff. I apologize. I think I got it right now. I'm
on there. I've been looking at the chat. People have been agreeing with you most, except with your list.
Well, you should be agreeing with me. The list is I forgot what we're doing here, to be honest with you. But the
Eagles Chiefs.
The list is pretty good. Now I know what we're doing. I'm just testing everybody.
Well, we passed.
Look,
we passed.
So it comes out, Travis Kelce came out yesterday and acknowledged that he was totally in the wrong.
Yes.
For the collision he and Xavier Worthy had coming across the field. Yep. After 20 years of playing football, he doesn't know how to run on the field anymore because, he's whipped by Taylor Swift. He just doesn't pay attention or care. The little things don't matter anymore, I guess, when your fiance is a multi-billionaire and the biggest pop star in the world. But I am so pumped up for this game because for the first time in a long time, because they've been so damn good, there's a little trickle of blood right now in the water in Kansas City. And Chiefs fans, look, I know there's a lot of new Chiefs fans out there. It's the Mahomes era. And you guys went a long time without winning anything of any kind. So I appreciate the arrogance, the cockiness, and the obnoxiousness. I get it. Can't say it'd be any different if the New York Jets ever had the type of 5-6 year run that the Chiefs have had. But, man, it's on like Donkey Kong this weekend. And to me, it starts Thursday. Great game tomorrow night. Yep. Green Bay, Washington. But the game of the week is Philly, Kansas City. And what I love this week, we're reading all the posts from Chiefs fans who are now upset, crying in their beer about how the NFL did not suspend Jalen Carter after the spitting incident. Right. The NFL does have a new rule in place regarding spitting on, and the fact that you need to put a rule in to tell grown men not to spit on each other is problematic in itself. Yeah. When you grow up, the two things, maybe the three things, you don't do to another man unless you want to go. Right. And some guys want to fight. I get it. Number one, it's never not been number one, is spitting on a guy. Yep. It's the most disrespectful thing you can do. Number two is the backhand slap to the grill.
That's super disrespectful. You go slap me?
If I slap you like I'm your pimp, you got to punch me in the face.
Right, someone has to go.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice.
That's it.
There's no choice.
That's God's rules, not my rules.
Yep.
And number three is trying to hit on a man's woman. Yep. Those are the three things. You can tell me my baby's ugly, but you can't hit on my girl, pimp slap me in the face, right? Or spit on me. But apparently NFL players don't know those rules. So
or they don't
the
care.
NFL now has a rule. If you spit on another guy, it's a 1-game suspension, plus whatever the monetary fine is, okay? Because Jalen Carter, you got to spit on that thing. Because Jalen Carter did not play a single snap, the NFL viewed it as he was already suspended for a game because he didn't play a single snap in week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys. Right. He was fined $50,000
One
which is a game check.
Yeah.
It's eventually $60,000 is what his game check is. But moving forward, if you spit on a dude and there's been a single snap, you are suspended for the next game. And that's the NFL rule. But I find it funny that Chiefs fans are upset and are demanding that the NFL, suspend Jalen Carter. We know why. He's their best defensive lineman. He's the guy that's going to give Mahomes and that offensive line fits. And, he's where it all starts for them, which is why you can't run up the middle against them, and it's very hard to block him, right? But it's funny to me that Chiefs fans are so angry and yelling and screaming about the lack of suspension. I didn't hear any of them come out and say that they agreed with the Rashee Rice suspension.
No.
Right? I must have missed that. He got a 6-game suspension because he almost killed people. Right. Driving at 150 miles per hour and then running away from the car.
Yes, left to see on video.
Right.
On video.
Right. They're like, we know he did it because we see it. Right? So it's funny how Chiefs fans were upset that a guy on their team, an important guy on their team, Rashee Rice, gets suspended for a month and a half
well, that's harsh.
for putting people's lives at risk and you're drag racing down the street. And at the same time, they're yelling and screaming that a guy they're going against this week didn't get suspended for spitting on a dude.
Right.
So it's obviously what's good for me now in the moment is what I'm going to react to. That being said, Chiefs are favored in this game.
No, it's now flipped.
Oh, did it flip back?
It's now flipped. For the first time in 3 years, they're set to be home underdogs.
Wow. Was it one?
1.5 now. Eagles
which is what I thought it should have been at the jump. I said that yesterday. So I get this. So the bettors have made it right.
They made it right.
So what happened was Kansas City Chiefs bettors came out hard and strong. I'm betting Kansas City. We ain't going 0-2. And then Eagles fans said, I could get points with the Eagles against a team I just beat by 50 6 months ago. I'm in. So it's just a seesaw right now. It's Chiefs money and Eagles money, and then Chiefs money, and then Eagles money. It's going to be a hell of a game. Eagles going to win by 30 again. Fingers crossed. We got George Schultz, our NFL Insider, coming up right after this on The Carton Show.
Quarterback or coach has to answer for it.
Right.
Goff, Campbell. Listen, I'm not firing Dan Campbell already. I might be shipping Goff. I don't know, but I think the Lions. Again, it's week 1. Are we overreacting? I think the panic meter in Detroit is blaring. I think people are wondering, when do the Pistons start?
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
If a game is on the line,
give me the Navy kicker.
Oh,
the guy's going into battle in 2 weeks. He can't make an extra point. Come on.
From a mindset perspective, yeah. I'm not. Listen, we thank them for their service. I love them. Okay.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, if you have a bet and you have an academy kicker with a field goal or an extra point, you got to hold your breath.
27 yards.
27 yards. The kid shanked it from like 30.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
To your point, Craig, if anybody else is able to make a dent, it'll have to happen now. ESPN has had about 3% market share. Their goal is to get to 10% by next year. So if they can't make a big push this year and really see a lot of the new features that they put on their apps, a lot of the integrations with ESPN fantasy products, with ESPN, flagship products across the board, if those don't pay off soon this football season, it might be curtains for them.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I give them no excuses for the mistakes that Lamar and that team made when they played Buffalo in the playoffs last year. But I do think they've done enough to improve the team in the offseason. I think the offense was way better. The defensive line and the offensive line played really well in the back half of the year last year. Almost all of that talent is back. And I think the Ravens are going to be right there.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Love having our NFL Insider, Mr. Jordan Schultz. He's got multiple podcasts and YouTube shows, so check him out. Does some great one-on-one interviews with big-name players around the league, and also has a fun time with Draymond Green. Why is Draymond Green talking football? That's the name of the podcast. Jordan, good to see you, pal. Let me get right into it. I was talking at the start of the show. Giants fans have already given up on the season. Blood in the water with Russell Wilson. Everybody wants Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart, of course, he's never played in the NFL. I know Dable loves him. I know Gruden loves him. How quickly do you think, if at all, the Giants would pull the plug on Russell and go to Jackson Dart? What are you hearing?
I thought it was interesting that Brian Dable, after the game, Craig said, this loss is not on Russell Wilson, and then he wouldn't really commit to him. It's no surprise that he goes to Russell week 2. But I am interested to see if the offense sputters again, if and when, because it's only a matter of time, Jackson Dart becomes QB1. They really like him. He had a great spring, great summer. He's very talented, and I think he gives them the type of quarterback that they need. And I'm comfortable telling you, and this is no disrespect to Russell Wilson, who's a Hall of Famer, but Russell Wilson is no longer, in my opinion, a bona fide starting quarterback in this league. Jackson Dart, we don't know what he is, but he can't be worse than what we saw week 1. 17 to 37, 168 yards, no touchdowns. And now, to be fair, the offensive line was not very good, and Andrew Thomas coming back will make a huge impact, all-pro left tackle. But Jackson Dart gives them the type of quarterback that, at least in my opinion, gives you an opportunity to be competitive in games. And I think he's talented enough and has enough swag to infuse some life. And the guy to my left shoulder, Malik Neighbors, that's the key. That's the key, because he's the most talented guy on that offense. And, he had an inefficient game, 12 targets, 5 catches. I think Dart, it's only a matter of time. And if you're Brian Daboll, if you're Joe Shane, you realize that if you don't win this year, it doesn't matter anyway. So You might as well go to him at some point.
Yeah, and that's the key, because there's also job preservation. And if you do make the change and go to Jackson Dart, he doesn't have to be great, but if he shows a glimpse that he can be really good, there's a better shot for Dable and Shane than to hang on to their jobs. And as much as we don't talk about, guys like human beings, they are human beings. They have mortgages to pay and kids, and expenses. And sometimes these guys do make decisions based on what's good for them, as opposed to necessarily what's the best thing for the franchise. How do I keep my job? So I do think that it's interesting to watch. I would just say, if I'm a Giants fan, if you're going to bring Jackson Dart in, do you try to find a safe haven like the Saints game? I think it's week 6 or 7. And let him play against a team that's not very good and get his feet into the fire that way, as opposed to going up against, the Chiefs, the Chargers. So it's week 5, they have the Saints, before you then play a really good defense in Philly, a great defense in Denver, a really good defense in Philly, a good defense in San Francisco. I might want him to play the Saints in week 1, so keep an eye on that. Number 2 for you, San Francisco. Lots of injuries, of course. Kittle is on the IR, so he's out for a few weeks. And I know there's some notion that Purdy has a toe injury and the non-throwing shoulder got hurt. Give me an update on where we are with San Francisco.
Well, the Niners looked pretty good week 1. They go on the road to Seattle, my hometown. As tough as any place to win. They pull out a win, but not without a cost. You mentioned Purdy, you mentioned Kittle. This was the worry we had when we spoke last week, Craig, about the Niners. We like this team on paper, but there are some older players, especially at key positions. And so, to me, I'm very concerned about the Niners already, because that division is going to be really tough. You saw the Rams, how good they were against Houston. Defensively, I was really impressed. Arizona is a little bit of a wild card, and I think Seattle is going to be competitive, going to be in a lot of games. I'm very concerned about San Francisco, without question. And, they brought in Mac Jones for this reason. They wanted to have a viable backup. There was a lot of talk before the draft years back that was really the target. A lot of people thought he was the target for Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. So, I think I'm very concerned about the Niners. And if Brock Purdy is going to miss significant time or even a few weeks, that's a real problem, because Kittle being out, and then we had, ironically, the questions about McCaffrey going into week 1. He plays, and, it's like, if he's not healthy, that's another massive, giant problem.
Yeah, no, it's a major problem. They didn't play great. They stole the victory against Seattle. It's the prayer touchdown late. It was probably a bad throw by Purdy, but the tight end makes the catch, and they steal a division game on the road, which is key. But I'm with you 100% on that. I think Purdy plays. That's not based on anything. Just my gut that since it's the non-throwing shoulder, if he can walk, he's going to play. So we'll keep an eye on that. I'm convinced, as we're talking to Jordan Schultz, our NFL insider, that Tyreek Hill, if things look ugly again for the Dolphins this week after the embarrassing performance on the road against the Colts, that he becomes a problem for them. Is there any smoke at all that Tyreek Hill and the Dolphins are looking at a potential divorce before, let's say, the halfway mark of this season?
I'm not there yet, because a couple of reasons. One, before this season, we knew, going back to several months ago, that Tyreek Hill was having problems with Tua just based off of his interaction at the end of the season. And then apparently he patched it up. Week 1 was an unmitigated disaster. It was absolutely awful. I thought Mike McDaniel had his team completely unprepared on both sides of the ball in all assets. They get blown out 30-8. By my guy, Daniel Jones. I was so impressed with him, by the way. I told you to watch out for the Colts. I said it's a good juju in that building. And having spent time with him a couple weeks ago, I felt like they were in a pretty good place. So that's another story. But no, Tyreek, for me, I'm not ready to just say blow it up with Tyreek Hill, because if Miami, talk about job preservation, Miami with Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer, if they're going to preserve their jobs, they're going to have to figure it out with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, who was completely irrelevant in that game. So, and then some people said, oh, what about a return to Kansas City? No, Kansas City's not trading for Tyreek Hill. Xavier Worthy dislocates the shoulder. Andy Reid comes out and says he's day-to-day. Let's assume he misses a week. I don't see that at all. And for Tyreek Hill to get moved, it would have to get a lot worse. I'm not saying that it won't get a lot worse at Miami, but I'm certainly not there yet.
Except Mike McDaniel said it can't get any worse after the way they played against the Colts.
Craig, that was as bad a week 1 performance as you can possibly imagine.
Especially for a coach that, we bought into being, the next wonder kid, right? Great offensive mind.
Not there anymore.
The bloom is off the rose on that one for sure. I know we got an extension a year ago, but Mike McDaniel's time in Miami is not going to be long if the Dolphins put that kind of effort. The final thing for you before I let you go, I've never seen a coach in the modern era of football, and I've done this for more than 30 years, do what Coach Callahan did in Tennessee. Come out at a press conference and completely not know one of the most basic rules every kid knows just because of John Madden's book. And I know a lot of people watching football weren't alive for Madden as a broadcaster, but we all know because it's repeated every single week, 1 knee, 2 feet, 1 elbow, 2 feet. We know that the elbow counts. And I'm saying to myself, if I own the Titans and my coach gets embarrassed like that, forget about the fact that the Titans were a mess on the field and looked totally incompetent at an NFL level, and I'm a big Cam Ward guy. They look terrible. And then I find out my head coach doesn't know the basic rules of the game. Is that a problem in Tennessee or no?
There's a lot to unpack there. Number one, the current GM, the new regime, did not hire Brian Callahan, but they like Brian Callahan. They obviously brought in his dad, who's a terrific offensive line coach, and I think Brian Callahan, if you ask most people or generally everybody around the league, is very well respected offensively. I was downright shocked that he didn't know that. I think anybody in the NFL knows that rule, and to your point, most kids probably know that rule at this point. That was stunning. I'm not ready to say that's a problem, because Tennessee's roster is really bad. It's in shambles. It's a new GM. They have a ton of holes. That's not going to be a competitive team this year. I actually thought defensively they were frisky. They forced the 4 turnovers. But Brian Callahan not knowing that is shocking, and there's really no other way around it.
I know we got to let you go. Hopefully next time you have a picture of me behind you. Check out the Jordan Schultz report.
We can make that happen.
Okay, yeah. How much? Good seeing you, pal. Appreciate you. Check out Jordan's podcast, his YouTube show. I always appreciate Jordan's time. More football coming up right after this.
We all know a night out at the club in Vegas can get a little bit pricey, but I've got a tip that can save you a cover fee at some of the hottest nightclubs. All you have to do is sign up online for free with a credible guest list service. Then, just show up before 10:30 and check right in. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Remember these names: AZ Fudd, Olivia Miles, Lauren Betts. Depending on who wins that lottery, that's going to depend on who goes what. If Washington wins, it's Fudd. She's from the area. If Dallas wins, they're going to bring Fudd to play with, obviously, Paige. If Minnesota wins, I think they go Miles with the point. If Seattle wins, they go with Miles, and the same thing with Chicago.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I was looking at it through my phone at first. I'm like, why is there such a delay? And why are we getting pitch hitters right away? Oh, the pitcher got thrown out for some reason. Maybe he hurt himself. But no, turning out and seeing a brawl was absolutely hilarious to let that one play out. Just the way it is sometimes in baseball. We don't get a lot of good fights and a lot of good brawls and anger, specifically from two teams that aren't going to the playoffs. So good on them for showing that moxie last time. But it's good to see a little bit of a brawl and a little bit of that passion here.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The reason why I feel like Jared Goff doesn't really enter these MVP conversations. Jared Goff last year was on the team with the best record in football, threw for 4,700 yards, 37 touchdowns, and Tom was never in the race. He was never in the race because we know he's not that guy.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. If I just may go a little sideways just for a second, have you seen this video of the UFO breaking the Hellfire missile in half and then just going about its business, flying out there in outer space? I'm all about that, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I buy it, but I've seen it.
What do you mean you don't buy it? I saw the video.
Yeah.
Black and white video.
Uh-huh.
Here comes the Hellfire missile.
Uh-huh.
There's some kind of orb, UFO, UAP, whatever we call it these days.
Yeah.
And the Hellfire missile disintegrates. And then the UFO just like, keeps on flying.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what
all
the
about
video
that
says.
all day today. That's that to me on a Wednesday, that has edible Grand Marnier UFO videos all afternoon for me.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's
nice. That's all right. There you go.
Day.
You ain't gonna do that.
And then maybe some Mets and Yankees baseball. Both lost yesterday, and of course that means apparently that my guy Aaron Boone's a lousy manager because they are only 2 games away from having the best record in the American League after going to a World Series last year. But let's yell and scream all day, every day about how bad my guy is, Aaron Boone.
You're good for
The Yankees are going to finish as the #1 seed this year. A year after going to the World Series, they're going to win 93, 4, 5 games, whatever it is, and have the best record in the American League. But Aaron Boone can't manage? Shut your face. Now, I'd probably bench Volpe for a couple games, but stop with the Aaron Boone hate. And hey, Mets fans, only a 2-game lead right now over the San Francisco Giants. Got embarrassed again last night by your Philadelphia Phillies,
who are rolling.
Now beat them back-to-back.
Who are rolling.
And now all of a sudden, I'm saying to myself, the Mets, who are a lock to make the postseason as one of the 3 wildcard teams, they might be on the outside looking in.
97. They had on Sunday. They had a 97% chance. It has since dropped.
To make the playoffs?
Yes.
Yeah, of course it's dropped. They have a 2-game lead. And there's 4 teams nipping at their heels right now. The Giants are closest, only 2 games out, but that would be an embarrassment. After signing Soto and the owner coming out and yelling at Mets fans, now that I've done my job, why don't you show up? And Mets fans, to their credit, answer the call. They've showed up in bigger numbers than any year in the last decade. But the Mets have the 4th worst record in baseball since June 13th. It's good to be a Yankee fan, even if you're a fake fan like me. And I am. Time now for news and notes around the NFL. Aaron Glenn means business. And there's a difference between business and business. He means business. You may have seen in the Jet loss to the Steelers that Xavier Gibson, who I always thought was a pretty good returner, actually, had a big return earlier in the game. He had the fumble that really changed the whole dynamic of the game. Steelers scored a touchdown off of his fumble. I thought he might get benched. I know it's hard to argue against it, right? Dude got cut. Aaron Glenn is not playing any fools. Aaron Glenn came out and pretty much said, if you help the other team against us, you ain't playing for us. That is cutthroat. And as much as I like Xavier Gibson, he was a great story when he made the team, I'm with Aaron Glenn. Everyone's on notice now. I don't care who you are. I don't care what the fans think about you. If you turn the ball over, there's a good chance you're getting your ass cut. Gibson will get picked up too. And he's a good guy, and I think he's been a decent player.
Yeah.
But that's Aaron Glenn football, and I'm with you. Now you got to hold everyone else accountable too if they make bad mistakes like that. Number 2, only 1 rookie head coach, only 1. And it wasn't the dude in Chicago, Ben Johnson, who's supposed to be the next great head coach. Only 1 coach, rookie coach in the NFL, won his opener. And I can't believe it. But, of course, they were playing the Carolina Panthers, so, take it with a grain of salt. Yeah. But my guy, Liam Cohen, who's quite famous for giving us a creepy version of Duval. Check this out.
Duval.
Can't lead a group of men. He can't lead a group of grown men. Sounded like that.
Duval.
You weirdo.
That's the only rookie head coach to win in week 1. So give the Jags a little bit of love. Travis Hunter was not great. Let's be honest. He was not great.
6 catches, only 30-some yards.
Yep.
I think it takes a while to learn how to play both ways on this level.
I think he's going to be fantastic.
It's going to take a little
I'm a
time.
huge fan of Travis. Knows agency well. It's Lil Wayne's agency, of course.
Yeah.
And he's a great kid. He's going to be a phenomenal player. Didn't have a great opening week, but they got the win, and that's really all that matters there. Number 2, I think I said this earlier. Number 3, sorry. I said this earlier. If Brock Purdy doesn't play, and I guess it's questionable right now with the toe injury and the non-throwing shoulder injury, that means Matt Jones plays. Okay, fine. Matt Jones had limited success in New England, but imagine a matchup like NFL Red Zone probably would black this out of Spencer Rattler versus Matt Jones. Does that make anybody happy or moist?
I mean, I'm a Rattler man, so,
What, you're a Rattler guy?
Yeah, I think Rattler has an outside chance.
Nobody's a Rattler guy.
I'm telling you, I think he has an outside chance. Not with that team.
And then, do I have time for one more or no?
Yeah. Yeah,
I
you got tons of time.
All right, I can't hear anybody.
Yeah, you got tons of time.
The final news and note for you. Thank you. Tyrone basically, he deciphers what the guys downstairs are telling me. We have long thought, and I think it's been a universal thought, that Buffalo Bills fans are among, if not the best fans in the sport, certainly always in the running.
Top 5 with
I
the
lived
Browns,
in Buffalo
Eagles.
for 7 months. Great town, great people. Love the city of Buffalo, right? And all those thick women that kept me warm in the cold. Appreciate you and love you for what you did for me. But down 15, dude, you couldn't find a thin woman when Jim Kelly was in town. So you get what you get. That's a true story, by the way. Jim Kelly took all the pretty girls back in the day. Down 15, home opener against the Baltimore Ravens. 5 minutes to go, and Bills fans are leaving early. First off, I live there. There ain't no place for you to go.
They're going home.
I assume
home.
they're going home.
No, they're going anywhere else.
For a fan base that thinks of itself, the Bills Mafia, as arguably the greatest fan base in the NFL, and I wouldn't argue that. But now there's a couple chinks in that armor because you gave up. You gave up on Josh Allen. You gave up on the league MVP. How does a self-respecting Bills fan on a Monday night, right? Sunday night, excuse me.
Sunday night, yeah.
Leave a game with 5 minutes on the clock.
Meanwhile, Eagles fans stayed for over an hour through a lightning delay.
Right.
Didn't leave.
Right.
They're leaving. They're quitting on the game.
I might have to elevate the Eagle fan possibly to the best fan base in the sport.
Thank you, sir.
That's on the table now. Bills fans, you got to do better than that. You can't view yourselves as the best fan base. You left the game with 5 minutes to go, and you won, meaning you had to drive home and say to yourself, I can't believe I wasn't there. Of course, when you go to work the next day, you lie about it.
I was there
and
all
you tell
the way,
everybody,
all the
I
time.
didn't leave. You left, you no-good scallywag. We'll wrap it up with a couple thoughts after this. It's all football-based, you know that, on The Carton Show.
It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Like it or not, 18-year-olds dropped with a whole heck of a lot of money in there. Boy, I tell you, it changes people, Donnie, and it's a new reality that we better get used to in college football because look at the kid from UCLA, former Tennessee quarterback, making millions of dollars. You really think he cares? They got absolutely embarrassed and trounced.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Great to have you here. Giants fans going crazy right now want Spencer. They want Jackson Dart to be the starting quarterback. Russell Wilson also put out a tweet. I should mention, 2-word tweet. because he knows what's going on. And look, he's well aware. Every player's well aware that the career's coming to an end at some point. And he's blessed to make, $15 million bucks? $15 million this year as the Giants starting quarterback for now. It's interesting, though, that Giants fans want Jackson Dart. If you guys give me the Giants schedule to come in right away to start, and not Jameis Winston. Yeah. Because they play against Dallas, in Dallas, this Sunday. The New York Giants have not beaten the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas since OBJ, Ben McAdoo, Eli Manning, and Victor Cruz were on the roster.
Really?
Think about how long that's been.
That's a long time ago.
That's how long it's been since the Giants won there. So if you're a Giant fan, and Dallas has a really good secondary, hard to throw those guys.
For sure.
All right? Easier to run against them, but the Giants don't run the ball well. Why would you want to start your rookie quarterback on the road in a place where you've had no success for the better part of a decade against a defense whose strength is the pass, not the run?
Doesn't make sense.
So that, to me, doesn't make any sense. Put it up again, guys. Then you have Kansas City after that. Now, Kansas City, at least based on week 1, seems like you can throw against their defense. But they still got Chris Jones on the other side of the field. So are we going to start Jackson Dart against a team that, by the way, might come into that game with the season on the line? Yep. If the Eagles beat Kansas City, I think they will this weekend, Kansas City gets the New York Giants, where if they lose, the season is over. No team comes back 0-3 and makes the playoffs. It just doesn't happen. So you're going to start Jackson Dart against Steve Spagnuolo's defense, a blitz-happy defense, and Chris Jones when the Chiefs' season's on the line? That doesn't make sense. So let's go to the Chargers. Chargers, I can maybe see that's a spot, but the Chargers have a good defense. Look what they just did to Kansas City.
No, they're good. They're a really good team.
Really good team. Kansas City barely scored other than late in the fourth quarter. Right. Yeah. And that was because of Mahomes' magic.
Right.
You can't ask Jackson Dart to be Patrick Mahomes.
Absolutely not.
Okay, so we ain't going to start him against the Chargers. The Saints make sense.
That's the time.
Not a good football team. And an offense that's not going to score a lot against the Giants' defense. So if you're looking for a place to start Jackson Dart, it's week 5 against the Saints. Okay, put that to the side. If you don't think Russell's the answer, I think it's a universal thought right now. We'll see what he does against the Dallas Cowboys. Then to me, you bring in Jameis Winston to be the starter, veteran starter, competent quarterback, has seen every defense that's ever been invented. Let him get through weeks 2, 3, and 4. If you have any level of success, then he earns the right to keep the job because it's a meritocracy. And then you can push back when you want to start Jackson Dart.
You can push it back to week 10.
Well, and that's my point.
Yeah, you can push him to week 10.
Even if you're desperate for some reason to get him action on the field, if you bring Jackson Dart in for the game against the Saints, let's say they win that game, 13-6.
There you go.
Now you're asking Jackson Dart to beat the Eagles twice, the Broncos, and the Niners.
It's tough.
In 4 consecutive weeks.
It's tough for a young guy.
San Fran's got a really good defense. Robert Sala's back. They manhandled Seattle. The Philadelphia Eagles, you know about their defense already. And the Denver Broncos arguably have the best, or certainly a top 3 defense in the league. So for me, you can yell and scream all you want about how we want the kid, we want Jackson Dart. I don't think I would play Jackson Dart. I'm looking to my left. I have a screen there. You see it online right now.
It's on there, yeah.
I might sit him until the Patriot game, week 13. Give him a week. Give him a week off to now process everything that happened in week 1, and then close it out with Washington, Minnesota, the Raiders, and the Cowboys. At that point, you're eliminated. The season's a wrap.
Right.
But the more I think about it, the reason the Giants went out and got Jameis Winston is for this exact scenario. The offense stinks. And let's be honest, if they put up 6 points against the Cowboys, Russell Wilson's done. He ain't playing anymore as a Giant. But I would not go to the kid in that spot. I would not. I think there's more value in that kid sitting on the sideline watching Jameis play and then bringing him in much later in the season.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If you care about the quarterback, the problem is when it's self-preservation, they end up they make decisions that aren't prudent for the player.
If you lose with Jameis Winston, why am I bringing you back?
Right.
If you lose with a rookie who shows some promise, then maybe you're the guy that deserves a year 2 with that rookie quarterback. And then you also don't want to be one of those teams where every year it's a new coordinator, new head coach for a rookie quarterback. Lots to discuss, lots to have fun with. Tomorrow on the show, we're all pumped up. Washington, Green Bay. We'll break it all down. Schlereth will be here as well. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching the Craig Carton Show with Tyrone Johnson.